Hey guys, I'm Grestar, and how about we watch RWBY Volume 1, Chapter 6, The Emerald Forest, Part 1. As always, make sure to click here first to go to the official release, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and then come back here and we'll watch it together. So, here we are, this new chapter, The Emerald Forest. My biggest complaint about the series so far is how short the episodes are. And not just how short they are, but how they don't really further all that much, you know, like, not enough happens to constitute an entire episode, in my opinion. You either get like a few character introductions, a little bit of interaction, but not necessarily development. It's really just all introduction so far, and then the slightest bit of plot progression. But as soon as we're given something, we're moved on to something else, or the episode abruptly ends, and so we don't really get a full like realization of what is actually, I don't know. Like in the last episode, it ended with a dark beast coming out. I don't know what they're called, so I'm calling him a dark beast. Coming out toward Weiss, and RWBY had run off or something, so Weiss is for now alone. And what should have happened there was it continued. It should have just continued from that point, but no, the last episode was like 4 minutes and 32 seconds long, and it just ended right when something was about to happen, because until that point, we just see people land in the forest, a couple little conversations, and then the credits. And that is not an episode. That is not an entire chapter, and it just shouldn't be. And so this one, it's going to start, I assume, pretty much right where we left off with, you know, a battle against the dark beasts, because there were a few sets of eyes and we only saw one emerge. But I assume RWBY's gonna rush back, she and Weiss are gonna fight, or maybe they'll run, I don't know. Point is, the action is going to continue right where it left off, and it should have just continued in the last episode. But yes, that's what we should expect from this episode. But yes, with that, let's get to watching. So, play. And as always, I will not skip the intro so as not to mess up the synchronization that you and I have just created. Now, I know I mention this every time, and you're probably annoyed with hearing it. I'm tired of saying it myself, but, you know, I feel like it's appropriate, especially if people haven't watched my other videos. Then, you know, this will be their first time hearing it, so, yeah. Maybe next time I'll actually, like, really pay attention to the intro, and I can talk about that instead of just how I'm going to sit through it. Anyway, here we are. Emerald Forest, Part 1, Chapter 6, Volume 1, RWBY. I like worked my way up there, you know?
Hello?
So it didn't start right off with the Dark Beast and Weiss. Not saying that makes the ending where Chapter 5 ended better, but just not what I expected exactly.
RWBY, is that you?
Does RWBY sound like that, Yang? Nope. One of the reasons Yang, I imagine, will be my
have seen a girl in a red hood, would you?
favorite character is because I like hand-to-hand combat. So her actually just using those gauntlets is really cool for me.
Jeez, you two couldn't hit the broadside of a...
Oh no, there was something about that in Death Battle.
You monster!
I don't remember if it's just an obsession with her hair, or if it actually gives her power. I just know she doesn't like it, or like people messing with it. What's kind of fun about that part though is I'm pretty sure Yang is based on Goldilocks, and those were all bear-like creatures. Goldilocks and the three bears, right? Yeah. Video.
I could have taken him.
Remember your training, Weiss. Head up, shoulders back, right foot forward. Not that forward. Slow your breathing, wait for the right time to strike, and...
That's not good.
Now!
That's not good. She is not focusing on muscle memory at all. Like, she's not working for muscle memory. She has it all planned. She has work to do.
Excuse me, you attacked out of turn. I could have killed you.
Out of turn.
I'll have to try a lot harder than that.
Here we go, guys.
We have to go.
Fire! Fire hot!
What was that? That should have been easy. Well, perhaps if you had exercised even the slightest amount of caution with the placement of your strikes, I wouldn't have set the forest on fire.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm just surprised that someone that talks so much would communicate so little during an encounter.
Well, I'm sorry that you need my help to win a fight. I'm just fine on my own.
Well, congratulations on being the strongest child to sneak your way into Beacon. Bravo.
That's reasonable. She is very pompous and jerky. Feather. Important.
Did you hear that?
Gunfire. It seems some of our comrades have encountered the enemy.
I knew that was gonna happen.
John! I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just a scratch.
You know, so she's
Why
walking
did you
around with her
activate
weapons
your aura?
out. He still has his sheathed.
Your aura.
Gesundheit.
John, do you know what aura is?
Of course I do. Do you know what aura is?
Aura is the manifestation of our soul. It bears our burdens and shields our hearts.
Thank you for this
Have you ever
exposition.
felt like you were being watched without knowing that someone was there?
Yeah.
It's a Snarky!
With practice, our aura can be our
Wait, go
shield.
back to that. I want to see more of that
Everyone has
fight.
it, even animals.
What about monsters?
No, the monsters we fight lack a soul. They are creatures of Grimm.
Ah, Grimm. Like
The
Grimm's fairy
manifestation
tales.
of anonymity. They are the darkness.
How does he
and we
hold
are
those in
light.
his sleeves?
Right. That's why we fight them.
It's not about why. It's about knowing.
Is that different?
Understanding both dark and light helps us manifest our aura. Everyone has some of both.
Oh, kind of a yin and yang thing.
By bearing your soul outward as a force, you can deflect harm. All of our tools and equipment are conduits for aura. You project yourself and your soul when fighting.
It's like a force field!
Yes, if you want to look at it that way.
So, yeah, that is how in chapter 1. Ow! Ew, that was gruesome. But yeah, chapter 1, how she deflected
Now,
Ruby's
close
sniper
your
bolts.
eyes and concentrate.
This got romantic.
Okay.
It's kind of creepy when she did that.
For it is in passing that we achieve immortality. Through this, we become a paragon of virtue and glory to rise above all, infinite in distance and unbound by death. I release your soul, and by my shoulder protect thee.
I don't want my soul released.
It's all right. I used my aura to unlock yours, but the energy that protects you now is your own.
You can unlock people's auras using your own
You
aura?
have a lot of it.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, alright, sure. Interesting. And everyone has a different aura, right? Or like effect to it?
I still don't think that's what a sloth sounds like.
Ah, okay. And it's almost over. This episode was... I find it important at this point to note how long the episodes are. So this episode was 7 minutes and 14 seconds long, counting the ending credits and the opening little intro cutscene, you know? This episode, again, was, you know, like the last one, it was better than some of the others have been in the sense that it actually did show us a little bit more of the plot while also explaining some of the world, even if the exposition was a little bit forced in some areas. But I guess you can say a character like Jean probably, you know, with his goofiness and everything, probably wouldn't be the most knowledgeable. And so, yeah, I think there could have been better ways of demonstrating some of that, like them reading books or being in a class, but I guess they go through initiation before ever actually learning anything in that school, because I guess it's kind of like this high school sort of thing, if I'm to come up with some sort of equivalent. But yeah, so the episode was, again, too short for my taste, as all of these short episodes always will be, I'm pretty sure. But it was nice to hear a little bit more about the auras and everything. And even though I get annoyed. Okay, so I'm an English major, but I don't indulge in a lot of English major things. Like, I'm kind of an outcast among English majors because I don't love how everyone's like, oh, there's metaphor in everything. You just have to look like, just everything is symbolic, but it's also objective, where if you take something else from it, or even if you just say it's just a thing, people are like, that's not true, you're stupid. I use an old man's voice because of how old that gets. Aha! No, not really. But you know what I mean? And so, even with that though, even with my kind of distaste for the metaphorical kind of stuff, it was nice to see how, as she's explaining the aura and how there's good and bad in each of us, and we kind of have to just learn about that sort of thing and be aware of it. We see, the snake that Cool Dude is fighting. I don't know his name, so he's just Cool Dude for now because I like him so far. It splits. Initially it was black, but then you see there's also white. And, again, the yin-yang kind of thing where it's like not everything is purely good or purely evil. There's some of both in everyone and everything kind of deal. So it was a nice, kind of juxtaposition having that fight as she's talking about that particular subject. And I do believe that was very much so on purpose. So while I did like the content of this episode, the issue for me was that it was also lacking in content. While I appreciated what was there, as is my complaint for like all of them so far, I just wanted there to be more. There should have been more. Each episode shouldn't be about introducing 1 or 2 characters or 1 or 2 concepts, in like explanation form. Like, no, we should actually get to see a full episode, with the arc and everything. And so far, it just hasn't been that way. So, it's unfortunate for me. I don't know. I can't yet consider this an anime because it lacks in that kind of structure. So I can't personally call it that yet at this point, Right now, I can call it an animated series. Like, I have no qualms calling it that, but calling it an anime for me, first it was a stretch just because of the style, but I know that there are others with different styles kind of like that. It's mostly just the fact that it doesn't follow specific, like, structures or formulas, and, yeah, just the length of it, no, I just can't. I can't bring myself to yet, so I'm really looking forward to the time where the episodes are actually of episode, I was about to say episodic, but episode length, and that they just work more cohesively together. I'm really gonna appreciate that when that finally comes around, because by that point, I don't think I'll have a lot to complain about, because I really am enjoying the series so far. I just want more of it done better, with better execution and everything. So with that, we're calling it here. Cue outro, go!